And welcome to another episode of the Alchemy of Us. Along with the beautiful Tabitha Harris, I am Osric Baum, and we make up your friends discussing life, spirituality, relationships, and everything in between. Miss Tabitha, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. I'm definitely feeling well. I have to definitely apologize to all of our listeners because Tabby was sick over the last
Mm-hmm.
week or so. And so, yeah, I had to take care of me. And that's what I teach everybody is about self love. You must take care of you and keep you at the top of your list. And so by doing so, I had to take care of me, and that's why we weren't on. But I'm grateful that I'm better. So how are you today?
Yes. I'm good, and I'm glad that you are better
Yeah.
because I know that it was challenging for you to have to juggle still working and yet not feeling uh, as well as you would have liked. And of course, I miss the time that we have on our podcast. So I am glad that you are back.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad to be back because I definitely, of course, miss talking with you. I love how we're able to have these conversations and get some feedback from our listeners as well sometimes.
Absolutely. So what how are you feeling today as far as what you want to talk about?
Well, I wanted to, of course, we're going to talk about karma because I believe that when it comes to karma, a lot of people think that karma is a punishment. That's the perception
Mm-hmm.
that most people have. But when we
Mm-hmm.
look at karma, we have to think about that logically. Do we really believe that it's a punishment? Is it really? And I think that
Right.
as you kind of think about like the alchemy of life and using karma should actually be something like a fire that would kind of purify our soul. It should help to refine us and rebalance us in life. Um, and so by doing that, it helps us actually to evolve. So it's so much
Mm-hmm.
more to it than us thinking that it's punishment because it's really not. So what do you think about that too?
No, well, I would agree with you that it is not negative as you've said, and I would agree that people do give me the perception that when you talk about karma, it is something that is bad that is going to happen. The
Mm-hmm.
one thing, though, the one thing that is consistent is that it's about the things that you do.
Right,
So
right.
that's how I'm looking at karma is whether you do positive things or negative things, whatever you're doing
Mm-hmm.
is going to yield whatever those results are. So
Right.
if it's a positive thinking, positive actions, positive
Mm-hmm.
results, negative thinking, negative action,
Mm-hmm.
negative results.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's the yin and yang. It's going to be it's the balance
Mm-hmm.
that you said because of
Right.
what it does.
Right. And actually, when you also think about it too, we're talking about the energy that you really can't escape. It's not because it's something that's chasing you, it's because it is you. That's really what it is.
Right,
It's you. This is
right.
you.
It is you. Yes, what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing,
Yeah.
or
Mm-hmm.
not doing. I know maybe somebody might say, "Well, people are wishing
Mm-hmm.
bad things on me."
Right. And it's not.
What would you
Mm-mm.
say to that? Yeah, what would you say to that?
Right. I think that that's one of the misunderstandings that people think about karma. They always think that, oh, someone's doing something to me or someone's wishing bad on me or, oh, somebody's trying to get me. That's what it is a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times. A lot of people in society we know they talk about that. It's like somebody's revenge. Like, oh, they wish it bad on me. That's what people say.
Right.
That's okay. Karma gonna get you. Because I remember I was one of those ones that you like, okay, that's all right. Karma gonna get you. And now when I actually have sat back for quite some time and thought about it, I believe that what karma really is nothing more than divine feedback. I think it's nothing
Mm-hmm.
but the energy that we're putting out that comes back in return to us to help us to see a clearer picture of ourselves. I believe that's what it is.
And I think that is a good perspective to have because, yes, it is a reflection of us and as far as
Hmm.
who we are based upon how we think or
Yeah.
or what we do because your thoughts will become words and then your words will become actions, so everything starts with a thought.
Hmm. Right. It sure does. So the issue really isn't someone else. It's really about what we are doing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And really, honestly, that's where I think a lot of people unfortunately go wrong when they think that it's always something else, or like they're being punished by God. God is punishing me because I did something bad. The universe is punishing me. That's what people think. They think it's a punishment, but it's not. It's
Mm-hmm.
really not. It's really the outcome of the cause and effect of what we ourselves are doing.
Exactly. Exactly. So the example you said where, hey, I'm being punished for something that I did, or maybe I thought that I didn't do.
Right,
It's
right.
you're right though. It is going back to whatever you are, and I think
Hmm.
people lose sight of that where they think, interesting, they think that because they have a thought but don't move on that thought
Hmm.
that there
Hmm.
is no issue, when in
Right.
actuality that's how everything starts with a thought. Everything
Hmm.
starts with a thought, and
Right.
that thought can come into existence based off of how strong you feel about your thoughts. So you don't even have to say them,
Exactly.
but how
Hmm.
you feel about it and how often you think about it and how often when you think about it, how that makes you feel, then that can
Hmm.
bring about whatever you're thinking. So it
Hmm.
goes back to what you said, cause and effect. That's going to be the cause. Even if you don't do it, if you think
Hmm.
it, that is enough.
Hmm. Hmm. And also, I think too, as well, for our listeners out there as well, what we want you to understand too about karma is a basically a Sanskrit. And a Sanskrit basically is something that helps you to transform. And so
Mm,
when you think about karma and then alchemy, alchemy is nothing more than a transformation. It basically uh karma is what gives us basically raw material to transmute that energy. It helps us
mm,
to be able to make a change. If you think about it, when you think about, for example, some of the things that you go through in life, pain, hurt, all these different things, betrayal, what happens when someone betrays you? You feel pain, right? And we will hope that that would turn into you becoming more wise and creating boundaries. That's what
mm-hmm.
you're doing. You're taking something that you're receiving feedback and say, "Oh, I want to change this because I know better. I know what I felt. I know from this example, and I want to move this in a different way." It's nothing more than feedback from the universe.
That is very interesting. Yeah. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, as I'm listening to you, that that does make sense. So what what I see or how I feel is that karma is always it is just a term that we
Mm-hmm.
use
Mm-hmm.
for cause and effect. It's just a one
Exactly.
word that we use for two
Mm-hmm.
words, cause and effect.
Right.
That that's it.
And let me share with our listeners two more examples of what we're talking about so that we can give you some examples of this. For example, for myself, I remember for years I was a mother and a wife, and I didn't take care of myself. And so what happened was I gained weight. And through the years of gaining weight and not taking care of myself, what happened? I ended up on high blood pressure medication. I ended up with severe back pain. I had sleep apnea. That was the feedback from my own behaviors. And so,
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, all of those effects that what I felt, I'm like, okay, now I need to do something because why? Prescriptions was high for high blood pressure
Mm-hmm.
and sleep apnea was not a good thing either. Going to sleep and not knowing if one day maybe I might not wake up. So, what did
Mm-hmm.
that do?
Right.
That made me utilize or transmute my energy to change my life. I took what I was experiencing from my own actions and changed it
Mm-hmm.
into something more positive to where now I lost weight. I'm maintaining my weight and I'm continuing to do more things to make sure I am healthier. These are
Mm-hmm.
the type of examples we're talking about. Just like when you think about even in
Yeah.
relationships, right? You might have been
Mm-hmm.
married for a few years. You were betrayed by maybe a spouse. That was painful, right? You
Mm-hmm.
learn some things by looking at that relationship. What were some of the things in the relationship that caused you to be in this space in your life? And
Right.
so you would think that by reviewing and looking at your own situation, because sometimes you got to look at your own situation from the outside when you're in it
Mm-hmm.
to get a better perspective. And once you do that, what happens? You start looking at, okay, what are things or ways I can change so that I don't have to experience this? That's when you start
Right.
transmuting energy to say, nope, I'm going to change this because I don't want to experience anything like that again. That's when you start
Mm-hmm.
recognizing the patterns or behaviors that of how people behave or what you allow to happen with you and that individual to change your life.
Right.
It's an
Right. Because I
awareness.
think is exactly it's an awareness, and it's not about blaming the other person. It's
Right.
about taking accountability for what you did or did not do. And
Exactly.
because it's always easier to blame someone else
Oh, absolutely.
versus, looking at the role that you had, because you do have control over what happens to you,
Hmm.
right? I mean, is that a fair statement that we can control what happens to us to some degree?
That is true. And we have to take into effect too that with karma, there are different types of karma. You think
Mm-hmm.
about your own personal karma, which comes from, like you said, your choices and your lessons. It's what the things you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, you have people that are out here doing all kinds of things. If we could see crazy stuff going on all the time just on social media.
Exactly.
You see the cause and effects of a lot of things on there. Then you think about there's also ancestral karma, inherited patterns, and family cycles.
That
Do
is
we
true.
not see families who have maybe a pattern of alcoholism in their families,
Mm-hmm.
teen pregnancies? Um, there's all kinds of ancestral patterns or karmas that come on to people
That's
within their
true.
family. There's a lot of things.
Right. So what you're saying is that karma is not restricted to
No.
just
Mm-mm.
you.
Nope.
It is something that can be passed on.
Hmm. And also, too, think about this also. There's also collective karma. Look at where we're at with humanity. Humanity
Mm.
is experiencing karma now. Why? Because we
Mm-hmm.
have wars, we have inequality, we have awakening, we have all of these things. These are all the things. We not experiencing the same pattern right now? They're trying to do the same thing. This is the same karma,
It's the
trying
same
to repeat
karma.
the same cycle. So it's like we're now as a society in a karmic cycle where we gotta say, what are we individually gonna do? Are we gonna keep on with the same narrative, the same pattern, the same cycle? Or are we gonna wake up and say, no, I don't have to clock into that. That ain't something I gotta do. I don't have to keep doing this same thing.
Right. Right. And I think for, or let me just say this. Some people feel like they are powerless. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have anything. They don't have the ability to change anything.
Mm-hmm.
And how we have been conditioned in society is to think that we don't have any power,
That
that
is true.
we have to look for someone that is apart
Mm-hmm.
from us to save us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wait on someone to come and save us. Just
Exactly.
for example, I read this.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry Shepherd. Sherry
Mm-hmm.
Shepherd. I think. Okay. Comedian. She has a talk show, right?
Right. I like
Okay.
Sherry.
She said that a few years back,
Mm-hmm.
she got caught up in the rapture
Oh,
discussion.
oh, the rap, like the TikTok rapture, honey, because they was caught up
And
giving away their
yeah,
stuff.
she didn't do that. She just didn't do nothing.
Huh?
She just didn't pay no bills, and like, hey,
Paying
cause
me
like
now.
she's like she's like, hey, uh, nothing. I mean, I'm not going to be here, so why am I going to even be doing anything? And of
What's the
course,
point?
nothing. Yeah, right. What was the point? But then, of course, nothing happened, and here you are, and now she got
Tuesday.
uh, in a situation where I think she said she had to go to jail. So yeah, because of the unpaid bills that she had. If I've got the source right, you can Google it. Listeners, you can Google
Wow.
it. But the point though is her, along with however many others that there were, just like this last
Hmm.
rapture that was supposed to have happened, I think sometime in
Child. Like
September.
about 3 weeks ago
Right. That
on a Tuesday.
someone, yeah, on a Tuesday, right? That someone is going to save us.
Right. Yeah.
Well, this is how I look at it. Nobody's coming to save you. The
Exactly.
person that is here to save you
It's
is the
you.
person that you look at in the mirror every day. That's the
Hmm.
person coming to save you. If you tap into their power and understand what that person can do,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be waiting for somebody else to come and save you, when the person that's going to save you is the person that you are.
Mm-hmm. And so, one of the things that I think a lot of you need to realize too is you have to really ask yourself, what karmic cycles might I need to break in my lifetime? What are your
Mm-hmm.
patterns? Because that's what it's really about. See, the alchemy of life is you learning your patterns and understanding why you are what why you are doing what you're doing. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're really paying attention to yourself, you'll find your patterns. That's how I was able to break minds. Because why? I started looking and sitting back and saying, nah, this is like the same thing. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
different example. And when I started realizing that, that's when I'm like, oh, nope, I ain't doing that. I had to actively make another choice and change to break that. You can break them patterns. You don't have to stay in them.
Mm-hmm.
You are a free sovereign being. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Please know that. Don't let this society think you got to follow what they say. No, you don't. You are free. You are born free. And you
Mm-hmm.
got to know that.
Yeah, you got to know that. Now, we're not saying don't, um, do not do or fulfill your obligations. We're not saying that.
Hmm.
What we're simply saying is that you do have the power within yourself to change whatever your situation is. It is you.
Hmm.
But as long as you stay connected in what society brings, and what it causes mentally, because of
Hmm.
all the different images and all the different conversations that go on, that are things that we have really no control over, we have to focus on what we can control. And that would be very interesting to see if everyone
Hmm.
focused on what they could control, which is themselves.
Right. Right.
How much of a difference would that make as a society, how we would move?
Hmm. And that's very true. And this is the thing, in order to break these patterns, you have to learn to be someone who's consciously practicing things to break them. You can't not do nothing. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, number
Mm-hmm.
one, you need to be aware. You need to be aware and notice your patterns and your triggers and the emotions that you're feeling, because that's usually the dead giveaway. You just
Mm-hmm.
being aware of the things that come into your life. By being aware of those things, that's when you're able to say, okay, nope, this feels very much like something I've experienced. And then go
Mm-hmm.
back and think about that and reflect on it and connect it to what it is, the examples, and then actively make a change of how you're going to go forward with not being triggered and not repeating it again. And you may not get it right the first few times, but it may take some time. It may
Mm-hmm.
take some time to get there. But another thing too is when it comes to you practicing things to help you, you also want to make sure that you are taking responsibility, because that's another thing a lot of people don't want to do today. A lot of you don't want to take
Mm-hmm.
accountability for your own actions and the things that are reflecting to you. So you need to
Mm-hmm.
really ask yourself, what energy did I put out that invited this? What did I
Right.
do? Because this is a you thing. This is about
Mm-hmm.
you and what you're doing, and you invited something to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, what's that saying? I always say, um, where your mind flows, where your mind goes, energy flows. It's all
Mm-hmm.
about your intentions and the things that you're putting out. So you need to take the
Mm-hmm.
responsibility and deal with you inviting it. You invited this. And a lot of people don't want to
Right.
take accountability or responsibility for the things that they invite into their life.
Exactly. Exactly. Because
Hmm.
is what was said earlier. Even if you don't act on a thought that you have, you still had the thought, and
Hmm.
that is enough. That
Right.
is enough to invoke
Yeah.
the beginning of what is going to come.
Yep. Yep. Dwelling on things, definitely. Because why? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times when you're dwelling on things, what happens? An emotion is there. That ain't nothing but remember the universe. We all are thriving off of energy and frequency and vibration.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you. So when you start
Mm-hmm.
thinking about, oh, this or that and something from the past, and then suddenly that thing pop up, this is you. You invited it.
You invited it.
You invited
You
it.
invited it. You
And
caused
so,
it.
yeah, exactly. And a lot of people don't realize. They be like, well, how did this get here? You. This is all you. It's all you.
Mhm. You're right. I mean that's and that is it. I mean that is simply it.
Hmm. And
That
then
that's what the whole thing about.
exactly, this is a you thing. And you know what? As you're going through practicing things to help you, once you get to that space where you're aware of who you are, you have taken accountability for yourself. Now it's time for you to recalibrate and make some changes. Now you got to
Mm-hmm.
shift your energy through forgiveness, gratitude, and even aligning yourself with new actions. This is all
Mm-hmm.
you making a change consciously to be better. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things too that I wanted, a lot of things that I also like to do too as well that I like to share is I'm one that I like to journal. I
Okay.
do. I journal and I also meditate. And
Mm-hmm.
these are things that help me to realign myself, to reinforce myself, to center myself so that I'm aligned with who? The creator. These are things. And then, listen, I'm a girl that I practice rituals or routines, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a moon girl. I love the moon. I follow that, and I believe that we women follow it because why? Because how it cycles. And so
Mm-hmm.
usually I like to release things, whether it's the new moon or full moon. I like to release things or renew things. That's how we're also able to release karmic attachments by the things we practice. So you have to make sure that you're regularly practicing things that's going to help you.
Mm-hmm. You're right. I mean that's pretty much it. But it's you, the individual, that has to find this out. So
Oh, absolutely.
you're on a journey, and even though you can get assistance from others, ultimately everything is going to come down to you and how you think and what you believe in and what you
Hmm.
believe to be true. What you believe to be true.
Absolutely. And like I always say, listen, practice makes perfect. You're not going to get things right. And anything that deals with, especially our own spiritual journey, it takes time. It's
Mm-hmm.
not always easy. It takes a focus, but with determination and consistency, like any other journey, you can get to a place where it becomes second nature to you. And then what
Mm-hmm.
happens? Your life changes to where you won't experience those things anymore. but it's all up
Mm-hmm.
to you and what you do. So you have to make the choice and be really conscious, or really make it a point to do something. Don't stay stuck, but do something, because if you do
Mm-hmm.
something, it will change your life. It really will.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Your life is going to change whether you do something or whether you don't do something.
It sure is.
Right. So it's better if you do something, because at least you thought about
Hmm.
your situation and you decided to take some type of action. Because that's essentially how I'm looking at
Hmm.
what Miss Tabitha is saying is you're going to have to take action, or action is going to be taken upon you. How about we put it
Right.
like that?
Hmm. And just keep in mind that with karma, along with alchemy, it's here to help you to grow. It
Mm-hmm.
really is. Don't you want to grow? Don't you want to evolve and be better at who you are, not just as a person, but even as you change internally, everything outside of you changes.
Mm-hmm.
It does. So one of the main things I definitely want to impress upon everybody is that you must remember that karma is not a life sentence. It's not.
Right.
It's basically something that helps you and gives you the opportunity to evolve and grow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's some of the things that we're always trying to impress upon all of you. We want you to grow, because we listen, Rick and I are students first. We love
Yes.
learning. We are
Yep.
professional students. We love learning stuff. We're constantly talking about our growth and evolving and all those
Mm-hmm.
types of things, and we share data all the time, because why? We love to grow, and we want to be stretched, and we want to evolve, and we want our lives to be better. And so those are the things that we're trying to teach you. We want you to grow too. Grow with us now.
Exactly. Exactly. Don't think that this is what life is all about. And when I say this, it's
Mhm.
what we see in the media, whether it's the news on TV, what you
Yes.
read, what's on the internet, all these different things.
Hmm.
That's not what you are, but that is
Hmm.
what it is making you. That's what's making you.
Right.
And I'm simply going to say that because we how we are reacting to everything as a group
Hmm.
leads me to say that what we see and what we hear and what we read, that's what makes us. So if that's what makes us, why don't you start seeing things differently? Why don't you start
Absolutely.
reading
Hmm.
things differently? Why don't you start thinking differently? And that thought start would come from you are the one that controls your own destiny. I mean, that's essentially
Absolutely.
what we have the power to do. Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
we're not going to go into the matrix and all of that. And we're living in a simulation, because we could talk about that and debate about that. But what I will say,
Hmm.
as we have been saying here, is that karma, which is one word, is the representation of two words, which is cause and effect,
Hmm.
which comes from how you think, what you say, and then what actions are following. So we went
Right.
from one, two to three things. And those three things, the first one is thought. So
Hmm.
if we change our thoughts, we can change our reality.
Hmm. And also, too, when you learn to understand karma, you'll stop blaming life and you'll start creating with it. because really
Mm-hmm.
there's power in your choice. You'll understand that even though you may have went through some things, or you may have some family history or patterns of karma, you can change your actual future uh, lineage by you
Mm-hmm.
making a change. What we call
Mm-hmm.
it, breaking those generational curses, like they say. That's really, those are patterns. So you
Mm-hmm.
can break those patterns if you consciously do the work. If you do it, I'm telling you, you'll stop blaming life and saying, the man's out to get me." That's one of the main ones. The man,
Right.
or God's punishing me. No, no. Stop doing that. We want you to start creating with life. When those cues come back from the universe, you're like, okay, all right, I hear you, universe. Thank you for
Right.
the feedback. So now
Mm-hmm.
the power's in your choice. Where do you go from there?
Mm-hmm.
Make a better choice.
Because you make a better choice, things become more things are revealed to you, and
Yes.
people come into your life that would be in
Hmm.
alignment with what is happening to you. So, because I know
Absolutely.
a lot of times, well, I'm not going to say a lot of times, but one way that can cause
Hmm.
people to not change is because they don't want to be alone. They
Oh yeah.
even if we're not talking about a
Hmm.
romantic relationship, we're just talking
Right.
about in general.
General.
People don't want to be alone, but again, the if you have that fear of not being alone, of not being accepted, and that is a fear, and I've had that fear,
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
it causes you to not be true to who you are, and then the effect becomes you're living a a life that really is not fulfilling because you're not doing what you feel is best for you, but it's because you don't want to be alone.
Hmm. Exactly. And once you get through that, trust and believe, life will definitely change on that other side, because why? Really, you're not alone. You're never alone.
Right, right.
You're never ever alone. So we definitely want you guys to think about, you know, your view of karma. What is your view on karma? And why do you
Mm-hmm.
believe the thing you do? And what is it? How are you going to change your life now, knowing that karma really is just an introduction that has to do with you? This is all
Mm-hmm.
about you. Think about
Mm-hmm.
yourself. What are you putting out? Because whatever it is you're energetically putting out, baby, you getting it back.
Mm-hmm.
This is a
Mm-hmm.
you. This is a you issue. So we want you to become more focused on you. See, the thing about you mastering yourself is you being able to really get into absolute focus on you. You can't worry
Mm-hmm.
about anybody else. You have to have blinders on and deal directly with yourself so that you can change your life for the better, because you can change your life. We have
Mm-hmm.
both been in different spaces in our life. And now we're in a whole, I look at myself now compared to how I was back then. And I'm like, man, Tab, you have changed a lot. I mean, over the last
Mm-hmm.
couple of weeks, I did a lot of reflecting on my life and how I was, and how I used to be someone who always had, I would never speak up. I would just allow things to fester until I got sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just being thrown about like a feather in the wind. And it wasn't until the universe woke me up, and then I started to
Mm-hmm.
really consciously start moving in a certain way to change my life, knowing, no, I have power.
Right.
I am a goddess.
Right.
and I can change my life at any time. And that's what we
Mm-hmm.
want for all of you. We want you to do the same thing. You can change your life at any moment. Don't let this world make you think with all this cap. Listen, this is a training ground for you. You're in school right now. Okay? You're
Mm-hmm.
in school
Yeah.
because Earth is school. It's a chaotic high school. Well, actually, I think it's just a school from all levels, from pre-K all the way out to
Yeah.
college, all the way out to college. That's what it is, different levels.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And we're all learning on at our different timelines, and where we're at in life. And so
Right.
if you really want to grow, you have to actively do something. You can't do nothing. That's not how this works. That's not how this
Mm-hmm.
works.
No, you're right. It's not how it works. And you brought up a great point, which is you have to work on yourself. And so
Mhm.
I know some people will tend to not focus on themselves, but focus on others. And what I mean by that is you'll you'll care about others more than you will care about yourself, right?
Exactly.
And I would only simply say this: you you have to take care of yourself, whether it be physically or mentally, spiritually, whatever the levels are, whatever area in your life, and they're probably all going to coincide. Whatever area in your life is causing you to be feeling down, you
Mhm.
have to realize that that is something that you have to fix, and you have to be very intentional about fixing yourself. And I don't even want to use the word fix, but that's what I'm going to say. Fixing yourself. And the
Mhm.
analogy that I would use is that if you've ever been on a plane, right?
Mhm.
You've
Yep.
been on a plane, and before the plane takes off, they go through all of the safety measures, right? Okay.
Mhm.
And one of the safety measures is that if the cabin pressure, if something were to happen to the plane and it would affect the cabin pressure, those oxygen masks drop down, right? And they always say, put your mask on first, right? Because you can't do anything for anyone if you don't have your mask on first. If you try to put on somebody like your child's mask, and I know that would be the thought. Let me put my child's mask on. But what happens if
Mhm.
you put your child's mask on, but then you don't have time to put yours on? So now who's saving you? So
Exactly.
you got to save yourself first before you can save someone else. So you have to change yourself first before you can even think about seeing anything in your life change. It has to be that it's you that has to be doing the changing. And so the focus has to be on you. And a lot of people will say, well, you're selfish. Am I? I just gave you an example.
Mhm.
If I don't put my oxygen mask on first, nobody else, it don't even matter what happens to me. It doesn't matter. If I don't do something for myself first and I do
Mhm.
something for someone else, then it doesn't matter what happens to me because I probably will not make it because I'm not focused
Absolutely.
on myself. So I can't help you until I can help myself.
Yeah, you do. You have to be at the top. I at work and everywhere when I especially I love teaching women self-love. That's me. I'm a self-love. I love myself that much that I want women or even men. I just want people in general just to love themselves more. And
Mm-hmm.
so, with that being said, you must be at the top of your list.
Mm-hmm.
You are first. You come first. And a lot of people don't do that. You better learn to put yourself first. You better
Mm-hmm.
learn that. Stop putting other people in there as a priority over you. No, you're the priority. You are.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Rick said, just like with this example, put yourself first and start taking care of you, mind, body, and soul, because you matter. We
Mm-hmm.
see too many time examples of people who are constantly, look at the example of the woman who was working, working, working like crazy and died. She passed away. She was
Mm.
unalived. She died because she worked herself literally to death. That's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
We have to learn that in this life, your health and your mental and emotional well being is number one.
It has to be.
Otherwise, right, otherwise, you won't be here in this realm any longer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
please make it a point to take care of you always first and foremost. You have to.
Mm-hmm. You
I'm
know,
telling you.
it just made me think of another analogy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I watch movies, and
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt Earp, which is a great Western movie that I love, and this is the Wyatt Earp
Uh-huh.
this is the Wyatt Earp where Kevin Costner is
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt Earp. Anyway, there's a scene
Mm-hmm.
where Wyatt Earp and his brothers they're the sheriffs of Dodge City, and the bad guys come in. I forget the guy's name, but the bad guys come in,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a confrontation
Mm-hmm.
in the in the on the streets,
Mm-hmm.
and Wyatt Earp
Mm-hmm.
basically he's talking to the leader, and he basically
Right.
says to him,
Uh.
"Look, you have the decision, or
Mm-hmm.
you can decide how this goes, but basically,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you decide,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to kill you. So it doesn't matter what happens to everybody else."
Uh.
So let's just think about that for a second. Basically, what Herb told him was the decision on what's going to happen to you is in your hands. So because once I kill you, it didn't really matter what happens to everybody else to you because you're dead.
Okay.
So the
Mm-hmm.
point is, uh, you need to take care of yourself. And I would say that the decision by the guy was pretty much, okay, yeah, we'll give up our guns because that was the whole deal. But the point though was that if you don't take care of yourself, then everything that you put ahead of you will not matter to you when you're not here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it won't make a difference what is going on because you're not here. Well, you're not
Right.
here because you didn't prioritize yourself. And that is also a part of karma because essentially we're gonna go back to this. It's
Mm-hmm.
cause and effect. It's your
Yep.
thoughts, your words, and your actions. So you have to have your best interests first.
Absolutely. And it's easy today in society for you to just get so caught up in doing things for everybody else but you. It's so
Mm-hmm.
easy, but like I was, like I tell people, you got to take time for you. You have to. And I tell my daughters that all the time. Make sure you're taking time for yourself because if anything, before you can help your children, you must be well first. And I
Mm-hmm.
teach them that. And it's not selfish because people be like, "Oh, that's selfish." No, it's not selfish. It's not selfish for me to put me first
Mm-hmm.
at all. You're the priority. Please stay there. Please continue doing the things that you know align you because you need to be prepared at all times for life. This is a
Mm-hmm.
part of your process of you aligning with your highest authority. That's all this is. You better get, we got it. Listen, it's not about even getting it right. It's about just being in alignment and knowing what feels good. You know what feels good to
Mm-hmm.
your soul and what doesn't. Remove the things that
Mm-hmm.
don't feel good. You don't have to stay in them patterns and them behaviors and them lifestyles that just don't feel good to you. Learn to
Mm-hmm.
learn to continue to put yourself first so you can move through that so that life will get better because it does. I know sometimes when we're in those situations where it doesn't feel good, remember, ask yourself, why am I here? How did I get here?
Mm-hmm.
How did I introduce this? And then
Mm-hmm.
actively say, okay, this is how I got here,
Mm-hmm.
recalibrate,
Mm-hmm.
and then make a change.
Mm-hmm.
Make a change.
And it is it sounds that easy. It is that simple. We're
Hmm.
not saying that it is easy because you're
Right.
breaking a habit that you have been conditioned to have. So
Hmm.
it's simple,
Hmm.
not necessarily easy,
Hmm.
but if you're committed and intentional, then you can make it happen because you can change your life. But it goes back to Warren, first you have to believe that you have the power and that it
Right.
is you that can make the choice
Hmm.
and change the course. You know,
Right.
I'm doing something, learning something new at work, and what and what I'm having to learn is in this new task that I'm learning, that
Hmm.
just because I may do something right then, I have to
Hmm.
wait a few seconds before the result
Hmm.
of what I have done
Right.
manifests. Okay,
Right.
so it's not that it's instant. So I'll do what I'm doing, and it's not going to be instant that the results happen. It's going to take a few seconds before those results happen. No different than what happens in our life.
Hmm.
You have to know that if you decide to make a change, it is going to be consistent, but the change does not happen
Hmm.
instantly, or things don't turn around. Now, the change can happen
Hmm.
instantly. The change can happen because of your thought, but the results and what you see are not
Yes.
going to be instant.
Oh yeah.
But you have to be consistent and just know that the change that you're making, as you stated,
Hmm.
we know how we are and what makes us feel good and bad, and
Hmm.
remove those things, make those changes, and as long as you're walking
Hmm.
that path, then you'll start to see the results. You just cannot get caught
Hmm.
up in thinking that the results are going to happen as immediate as our
Hmm.
society has conditioned us up to this point now to believe that everything that you do has to have an immediate result, an
Hmm.
immediate impact, when in actuality, that's just not how life works. It takes
Right.
9 months to have a child, right?
Hello.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it takes 9 months. It just didn't, it's not a situation where you have the act of reproduction, and then boom, instantly the next day you
Right.
got a baby. No, it is a
Hmm.
process. It's a process.
Right.
So we have to understand that everything has a process, which means
Hmm.
that you just need to be consistent with doing the process.
Hmm. Don't look for instant gratification, basically. You want something
Yep.
that's longevity, that's going to
Mm-hmm.
go on and endure for a long time. Like when I went into my weight loss and fitness lifestyle, I did that alone. And I did that for a reason. I conditioned myself consistently and regularly so that why I would keep doing this same thing or adding new things so that I could make sure that I was always constantly getting back into a pattern of behavior that I'm used to. And
Yep.
because of that, it's been going on 12 years. So if you consistently, like Rick said, keep doing the same, keep doing the work, not looking for instant gratification. And please know you are going to have times where some things may come in. You still got to look at, okay, what did I do? Or how do I need to tweak this? Just make
Mm-hmm.
changes. That's it. That's all you need to do. Make some changes.
That's it.
That's what
And
it is.
I think that is a great way to finish this episode with
Mm-hmm.
changing. I mean that's
Mm-hmm.
our title for the show is about karma. It's
Mm-hmm.
another edition of a discussion
Mm-hmm.
about karma. But at the end, as we have been
Mm-hmm.
discussing this, as Ms. Tabitha said, it's all about making the change.
And as we close this out, I would like to leave them with something that they could do. This is what I would like for you all to do. I
Okay,
want
here we
you
go.
to take a deep breath and I want you to think of a moment this week that felt unfair or uncomfortable. And after you think of that, I want you to ask your higher self, what is this trying to teach me? And
Mhm.
when you really think deeply upon that, then I want you to say to yourself, I am the alchemist of my karma. I transform energy through love. And that's what I want you to think about and do.
I like it. I like it. Hey, reflections from Tabitha Harris. Hey, so that's your assignment, folks. That is your assignment. We'll be looking for comments and let us know how that went and what you actually reflected on and thought about. Hey, that is it for us. The alchemy of us. I'm Rick, along with the beautiful Tabitha Harris. Until next week, hey, stay strong. Remember, karma, cause and effect, your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Peace.
Later.